and he only had like what 25 or 26 touchdowns. There's nobody that's thrown 30 touchdowns yet, and we're going into week 15, people. Like, think about that. Like, for all the offense
In
we're
an
supposed to be
on
having,
an
people are not
offense.
throwing a lot of touchdowns. There's a lot of rushing touchdowns, and there's a lot of just lower scoring games. I think this was
Oh,
one of
so
the
you're
this.
so you're saying the running game is making a comeback.
Yeah, music
Aaron
to my
Jones got his
ears.
12th touchdown today, baby, 15th.
Yeah,
He is, from what I just saw on Bleacher Report Packers, I have to bring this up. Um, they have him on a list. It says Jim Taylor in 1962, 19 rushing touchdowns. 1961, 15 rushing touchdowns. Amon Green, 15 rushing touchdowns. 60, Paul Hornung in 13 rushing touchdowns. 2019, Aaron Jones has 12 touchdowns. He is up there with Jim Taylor, Hornung, Green, and Taylor. All of them.
why are people like not realizing that? Look, Jamal Williams is a hell of a complimentary back. Aaron Jones is a superstar. He has a few consistency problems, but I'm a lot of the times I think it's just because they just don't give him the rock enough.
He's only a third year back, too. Like, I mean, and
25
plus,
years old, just
and he
turned
wasn't
25.
ever used. That was the problem. It's like he's basically getting put back in his second year in the NFL because of the fact McCarthy never used him.
Yeah, he does not
Ever.
have the tread on his tires that a normal third year back would have. He is really in his first year of getting consistent 15 touch games or more. And they still have games where they don't give him the ball more than 4 or 5 times. So like, yeah, his wear and tear on it, and he was not used a lot in like. I don't think he was only a 2 year starter in college, wasn't he? Because he
No, he
came out
started all
after
3 years. He
he
started
did
all
start
three.
all 3 years. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought he
freshman, sophomore,
redshirted
and
for some
junior.
reason.
Mm-mm. He was a starter all 3 years, and he holds all the rushing records at UTEP, all of them. There's no, if you go look on there, you'll find one rare name, and I think it's like it's under receiving, it's under receptions. It's not receiving touchdowns. It's under receptions, and it's like number 3 or 4, but the rest is just Aaron Jones across the board for running backs. He
I
and
get you.
I just now, and the thing is, guys, we still have 3 more games left. Green Bay, cold weather. Minnesota, guess what? They like to give up the pass. Well, guess what? We have a running back that's really good out of the backfield in the passing game, so he'll get more touchdowns there in the receiving game. Detroit,
You know what
yeah,
though? Let's jump to the Vikings because you know what?
I
Kurt
don't
made
like
some.
jumping over an opponent.
What?
I don't, are you saying to look over the Bears? Is what you're saying?
No, 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 no. I mean, to talk about them next about their game today. I was just
Yeah,
gonna say the Kirk Cousins made some. Kurt made some good throws in tight windows, in situations that are more conducive to the ones that he normally messes up.
yeah, I give you that, but I also just read a stat about the Vikings. They're the only team in the NFL that has not beaten a team above 500 this year.
Who the hell did they play today?
Well, they did have the Raiders that were above or 500 or above. They're now 6-7. So the only win they had was because the Titans put a shellacking on Oakland.
God, the Titans they're wow. They are a team that I don't think anybody in the AFC wants to see. like
I told you, you don't want that team in the playoffs, folks. Derrick Henry, right off the bat, touchdown. A.J. Brown. That's why I gave Dylan crap for that. Dylan, if you're listening, I love you, buddy. It's not trolling. You told me with all your heart to start DJ Chark. All your heart. Within 5 minutes of that game, I had A.J. Brown, 22 points, staring at me on the fantasy board. I'm like, what? Went back, put up 33 points today in my flex. So, Titans, folks, you do not want that team. I'm telling you right now, their defense, their pass rush, their running game, the receivers, tight ends, you don't want it. With how weak the AFC this year
see,
is, I mean,
don't they feel like that Steelers team?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
from
Back what was it?
2010. 2010. The Steelers team came in 2010. They ended
Say
up winning their they ended up winning their division because that's who we played in the Super Bowl.
I know. I
And
wouldn't say 10 though.
their defense ended up finishing, I think, like second or third overall. Their offense ended up being super explosive at the end of the year, and everybody picked the Steelers. The Packers, even though they were hot, they were going to be the ones.
Oh yeah, we got
the
swept across the board in picks.
The Titans feel like that. That's what I'm trying to. Correlation, like to give people an idea of what we're trying to comp. That's what they feel like. They had a rough start to their season. The only difference here is there was a quarterback change, but I think they found the guy that they can build this offense around, and it cost them a fourth-round pick.
It's not even that; it's the fact that they already have the pieces in place. A couple more top-notch offensive linemen there, and you have your wall to protect Henry, your wall to protect Tannehill. I mean, you've got Corey Davis and
I think
A.J.
the
Brown.
offensive linemen, if you get better ones, they're there to protect
Humphries.
I think they're there to protect the defense because, goddamn, if they can't block them, Henry just runs them over and hurts them. So I think they're better off getting blocked than they are getting run over by Derrick Henry in the open field. Like, if I'm a defender, I'm like, dude, I either got a choice of letting that guy block me or him run me over. I think I'll get blocked. If you're a DB, there is no way you think with confidence you're taking him down in the open field.
Say, unrabbit hole this, and I'm going to go ahead and say it again. The only team that has a winning record right now does not own a record against a winning record team. They are 0-4. I believe it was the Packers, Chiefs, Seahawks, and who was the other one? There was another one that they've lost to, who was a winning record team that they could not beat.
Was an AFC team, wasn't it?
No.
Didn't they lose to a bad team? And we're like, how
No.
the hell did they lose to them?
I'm already on it right now. Kimosabi, don't you worry about that.
I'm having a brain fart right now. I cannot think.
I mean, not surprising. But no, I mean, but still, it's just not. That's it.
Stinky thought process.
Well, I mean, that's it though. There's no teams that they have beat with a winning record, man. Like, I get it. People are like, oh yeah, well, that's a kind of a broad stat. Not really. So either they're below 500, the Vikings beat them all day long. So you're telling me they've had 9 games against below 500 teams, but yeah, they can't beat the 4 teams that's staring them right in the face with a winning record. I can't back these guys. Like, I get it. I give them the respect
They're
of the.
making a wild card. I mean, I think they're going to make the wild card unless
We'll see.
we
will
have
see.
something. Because boy, the Rams are usually exactly what you don't want to see for a team that
They're getting hot right before the playoffs.
Right. They're everything's starting to hit on all cylinders.
This looks like the offense we saw last year going into.
Yeah, except for this offense looked like this for the first 12 games, and then down the stretch it started sputtering, and then by the time it got through the playoffs, it got its ass handed 3-point loss.
I'm looking at it.
This is almost the opposite for them of last year. They like flip-flop it around, and I don't think people want the Rams to make it. If you're a team, I don't think right now you're looking at what they're putting on film, and you're going, oh, yeah, we really hope they make the playoffs. I would rather face Seattle in Seattle than the way the Rams are playing right now, even if we had to play them at home.
Agreed. Because you know what? I think they played all of us right into their hand. The whole, Todd Gurley's got knee issues. He's got blah, blah. Like, tonight, I just watched Todd Gurley run all over that Seahawks defense. And he did it a couple games ago, too, to another team.
They didn't play everybody into their hand. What they did was they didn't use him all year round, all year.
Yeah,
Look,
they saved him. Yeah.
when you have arthritic knees, it doesn't mean you get up every morning, you can't walk. It means that when you go out and you do things at a really heavy level for a long time, your knees get inflamed and you need some time for it to go out. Well, when you're a football player and your knees start getting inflamed and you're carrying the rock 35 times a game, like you don't have enough time to heal. And they were putting a lot of abuse on your knees. Then he ends up with, so no, he's like, that's not a lie, but that's why they had such a rough part of the season and that's why I said at the end of the day, I know damn well the way these franchises look, they are not going to keep doing this shit with him year in, year out. I don't know now when I looked at their contract, they can't cut him this year. He got him too much, but they will draft a guy high and be ready to get rid of him the next year. Do you really believe a franchise is going to keep paying a guy that they can only use for 8-9 games a year, or he's going to end up
especially
falling
at that
apart?
paycheck?
No. And so the fact that he is being this productive just only proves it's going to prove their theory worth. Like, yeah, he's really good, and guess what will end up happening? They won't cut him; they'll trade him. And that could happen this year. And then go get your. And by the way, I went back because of your statements about Jonathan Taylor. I don't know who the hell you're telling me that runs through the players all the time and has a fumbling issue. He has 4 fumbles over the last 3 years, and they all came in piles where he was caught from behind and the guy punched it out and punched him behind. And by the way, I started watching his tape. He very rarely puts his head down and runs through people. He always is trying to juke and spin and like get skinny and make people miss. Like when he needs to lay a shoulder on somebody because there's no other way, he does it. But he's a very elusive runner. That's kind of why I always thought that I liked him so much. But then when you were saying that, I was like, it made me go back. No, his fumbling issue, not that big of a deal.
Where was he yesterday for the Big Ten championship?
He had 135 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half and didn't get the ball 10 times in the second half. And I'm telling you right now as a Wisconsin fan, their head coaching is the problem. This happens to them every year with Ohio State or any team that is better than them that they come out. It's like Ohio State went in the locker room and looked at each other and said, "Okay, guys, they think they're going to beat us. Now let's go out and play our real game." And then Paul Chryst, this is the problem. Wisconsin has 2 issues. One, they've fixed. The second one needs to be taken care of if they really want to make any use. They finally got a 5-star quarterback recruit in, and Paul Chryst decided to redshirt him this year to let Jack Cohen play out his senior year. Now, bullshit, okay? Second of all, Paul Chryst over the last 2 years has shown me that he's a really good coach, but he's not a good enough coach to get you over the Ohio States and the Ohio States and the big dogs out there in the college playoffs to get you there and actually win a game and have a national. He's not. He's a guy that takes smaller programs or programs that are like in the Big Ten. Like he'd be like Fleck. If he went to Minnesota, they love him. Wisconsin, he's just another coach that we get. 10 wins. We're 10-2. We go to the Rose Bowl, and you flip a coin, depending on who we play, and we win. That's great, but no thank you.
You think Taylor's going to sit out the final game?
They scored no points in the second half.
I know. I watched the game.
They got, I think, outscored like 31-0 in the second half.
Yeah, I know.
and I'm sorry, but when you watch the plays, you're down. There's 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and at that point they were down by I think 15 points or 16 points. It was a 2-score game. You're running power sweeps on third down. What the fuck are you doing? Their formations never had 3 wide receivers out. Even in shotgun.